I have many deck profiles on the back burner here, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to cover these. So I believe, if my memory serves, that this is the Unchained list that I believe Akino was playing for the Case tournament in Florida a week ago, where he ended up winning. So who knows that Unchained has been getting a little bit of love as of late by a couple players in the community. I feel like this deck was massively overlooked, and a few players kind of started messing around with it and have kind of bumped the deck to very solid rogue status. Evidently, a deck that consistently floats on itself is actually pretty good for the metagame. Who would have guessed? So we have 2 copies of Abominable Unchained Soul. I guess the general consensus here is 2 of this is fine. Also, do notice that we are not playing any of the Dark Spirits that Merrick played. Or not Merrick, Mr. Bakura played from the Duelist pack. It seems to be correct to just go about with this. We have triple copies of Astral Blossom and Joyous Spring. 1 copy of Pinkertops. Triple copies of Nibiru Meister. 1 Unchained Soul of Disaster. Triple copies of Aruha, triple copies of Rakea, and then triple copies of Sarama, rounding out your monster lineup. You have hand traps to handle pretty much every situation. The list ends up rounding itself out pretty well. We have triple copies of Abomination's Prison, triple copies of Cosmic Cyclone, triple copies of Pot of Extravagance, and 1 copy of Wailing of the Unchained. Traps, we have triple Abominable Chamber of the Unchained, triple copies of Escape of the Unchained, triple copies of Evenly Matched, and triple copies of Infinite Permanence, wrapping up the main deck. Extra deck here, we have triple copies of Unchained Soul of Rage, triple copies of Unchained Soul of Anguish, 2 copies of Unchained Abomination, 1 Zeroboros, 1 Drisbania, triple copies of Unicorn, that's very heavy, and then 2 copies of Access Code Talker because of Pot of Extravagance. Side deck here is triple copies of Artifact Lancia, 1 Scythe, triple copies of Dark Rule No More, triple copies of Xyz Encore, Numeron Engine being a little bit of a pesky problem. A lot of people still citing for it. It's kind of up in the air if it'll be relevant, really, who knows for how much longer. But yeah, players are taking precaution against it. We have 2 copies of Artifact Sanctum, 1 Red Reboot, and 2 copies of Trap Trick, wrapping up, some interesting stuff for the Unchained community. I like where this list is attempting to go. I think in terms of future endeavors and innovations with the deck, I think not being so cheesy with your card choices and honestly going more basic really looks to be about the best approach for this. Alright, next up we have Numeron Zoodiac. Now I believe that this was sent to me in my inbox. Somebody was telling me, hey, I've been, testing around with the concept with this, and it's got some pretty interesting synergy. Now, your extra deck dedication in this deck is massive. Not only, you have the entire Zoodiac core at your disposal here, you're still trying to cheese shenanigans out with the Numeron engine. So if you want to mess around with a relatively interesting concept, this might be the build for you. So we have triple copies of Astral Blossom and Joyous Spring, triple copies of Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabby, 2 copies of Nibiru, triple copies of Numeron Wall, triple copies of the Psyframe Gamma, 2 copies of Ram, 1 copy of Ratman, triple copies of Throwblade, triple copies of Whiptail, and 1 copy of the Psyframe Driver. Spells here, we have triple copies of Call by the Grave, triple copies of Tenki, tutoring for, our 1-card starters is always good, 1 Monster Reborn, 1 Numeron Calling, 2 copies of Numeron Network, triple copies of Pot of Avarice, 1 copy of Terraforming, 1 Zoodiac Barrage, and 2 copies of Infinite Permanence, wrapping up the main deck here. Extra deck, we have 1 Lambda, 1 Megaclops, triple copies of Tiger Mortar, 1 Trident, 2 copies of Chakanine, 1 Borbo, 1 Utopic Zexel, 1 Gate Sunya, 1 4, 3, 2, and 1, wrapping up the deck. Side deck, you can plug in whatever you want to test out. I find this list to be very interesting. The concept is original. to say the least. And I mean, you do get to see how splashable that Numeron engine is with today's metagame, because just being able to deny your opponent the chance to play the game or putting this on the field is really good. Next up, we have Sky Striker. Now, it's been a little while since I've seen Striker do anything. What was Ryan Vu was the last one to do something with it, winning the Luxury Games tournament. It was the PPG. I don't remember. But he ended up doing well with the deck, putting the deck on the map. A few people have been testing out the deck on the side, and they've been having very good success with it. I think in terms of future playability with card choices here, we'll see that this deck will still continue to be teched. The lack of engage has been very lackluster for the deck's development, but I do think in terms of how this deck is going in the future, like I said, you'll continue to see players want to innovate this because they support the Sky Striker waifus. So we have triple copies of Astral Blossom and Joyous Spring, 2 copies of Effect Veiler, triple copies of Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabby, and then there's that triple Gamma again. I definitely think that Gamma is developing to be this tech choice for the format. Players are really looking at this card and going, hey, you know, like, you want to stop my monster effect, or you want to stop something or attempt to do something imbalanced for the game, just slap the Gamma down on the table, and then you get a free Link 2 or a free Omega, depending on what you're playing for your deck. We have triple copies of Sky Striker Ace Ray, 2 copies of Sky Striker Ace Rose, with 1 copy of Driver. Spells here are triple copies of Cosmic Cyclone, only 2 copies of Pot of Avarice. Playing more than this, you're going to run into tech choice issues and massive errors in deck skill. Imagine drawing double of these, and you still got 1 more in the deck that you can dead draw. We have 1 Rhoda, 2 copies of the Area Zero, 2 copies of Afterburners, 1 Jamming Waves, 1 Eagle Booster, 1 Hornet Drones, triple copies of Shark Cannon, 2 copies of Widow Anchor, 1 Multi-Roll, 1 Terraforming, and triple copies of Infinite Permanence, wrapping up the main deck. Side deck here, or extra deck, we have 1 Zeke, 1 triple Shizuku, 1 Kaina, triple Kagari, 2 Hayate, 1 Celine, there's the Holly Fibrex climb target, 1 Hida, 1 Holly Fibrex, 1 Access Code Talker, and 1 Omega, wrapping up the extra deck. Side deck here, we have triple DD Crow, 1 Pankratops, triple Nibiru, 2 copies of Jamming Waves, triple Evenly Matched, and triple copies of Heavy Storm Duster, wrapping up a very, very interesting take on the concept for Sky Striker. And like I said, I'm still looking forward to seeing innovations with this deck in the future. We'll see how players are developing this, and I'm very curious to see what will come out of this deck in the future here. Last but not least, we have a relatively simple Dragon Link concept. You see, we have Dragon Maids in here to kind of help roll out what you want, because 1 card starters in the form of Special Summon a Dragon Maid is pretty free real estate for what you're looking for in terms of the deck's development. Also, the older, throwback to the Pendulum Monster. So we have 2 copies of Absa Router Dragon, 1 copy of Black Dragon Collapse Serpent, triple copies of Chamber Dragon Maid. Yay, starters! I love 1 card starters. 1 Levianeer, 1 copy of Chaos Emperor, the Dragon of Armageddon. 1 Quackimero Draco for special summon jamming, stopping your opponent from climbing up, and, light and dark shenanigans. 1 copy of Magna Rocket, 1 Olion, 2 copies of Nibiru, only 1 Noctovision, 1 Brotar, 1 Rocket Recharger, triple copies of Rocket Tracer, 1 copy of Silver Rocket, triple copies of Starleaf Safewort, and 1 copy of the Wyvern Buster. Spells here, 1 Boot Sector Launch, triple copies of Chaos Space, 1 Dragon Ravine, 1 Hospitality, 1 copy Foolish Barrel, triple Quick Launch, 1 Upstart Goblin, 2 copies of World Legacy Guard Dragons, triple copies of Infinite Permanence, wrapping up the main deck. Extra deck down here, we have 1 Unchained Abomination, 1 Striker Dragon, 1 Quad Boral, 1 copy of Little Protector Bolt, 1 Link Ross, 1 Heavenly Spheres, 1 Pissy, and 1 LP. Still can't believe these cards dodged a ban list. 1 copy of Yield Romulus, and then we have 1 Deligerous Dragon, 1 Halifibrex, 1 Access Code, 1 Martial Metal, 1 Herald, and 1 copy of the Borreload Savage Dragon. Side deck, we have 1 Dinosaur Springertops, 1 Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend for time, triple copies of Cosmic Cyclone, triple copies of Dark Ruler No More, triple copies of Lightning Storm, 1 in pre-order, and triple copies of Solemn Judgment, wrapping up Dragon Link for everybody. Interesting takes on all of these deck lists this week. So what do you guys think about these decks? Please leave a comment down there. Tell me what you guys think about these relatively interesting choices that these duelists are taking. And I'll see you guys on the flip side. Thank you, patrons, for making the ride never truly end. Without you guys' support, well, I would probably be doing Truffle Shuffle videos for a living. Guys, please check out VanCole40 for all of your Cardfight Vanguard content brought to you by MCole40. And if you are looking to pick up singles, check out mcolegames.com for your trading card game needs. Thanks for watching, everybody.